Hello, beautiful people. This is AstroKrys from CodaQueenAstrology, and today's video is going to be on the Aquarius full moon that's happening on August 22nd, 2021. This is the second full moon in Aquarius, so I am going to be comparing both full moons and giving you some insight on both full moons. I'm also going to be touching base on the human design gates that are being activated by the full moon. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you won't miss any videos in the future. I'd also like to invite you to my astrology group on Facebook. The details are going to be in the description below. I host monthly talks and also bring other spiritual healers to talk everything astrology and the spiritual development. And I go on IG Live on Wednesdays where I host Ask the Astrologer segment and I cover the specific zodiac signs during that time. So don't forget to catch me live on Wednesdays where you can specifically ask me questions about how the full moon will be affecting your zodiac sign. So the details are there below as well. And if you're on Clubhouse, don't forget to say hi. I host weekly rooms in the Astrology Club and also in the Astrology and Esoterica Club. So let's get started. Okay, so we're having another repeat of this Aquarius full moon, and I wanted to start off by comparing the charts so you guys can get a visual on the degrees in Leo and in Aquarius that have been activated by the Aquarius full moons. So back when the sun entered the sign of Leo on July 23rd, 2021, we had a full moon at 1 degree Leo and the moon at 1 degree Aquarius. So as you can see here, Jupiter was also at 0 degrees in Pisces. And for this current full moon, Jupiter's actually at 26 degrees in Aquarius. Now, the moon is very close to that degree in Pisces. It's at 29:41 minutes, and Jupiter was at 00 Pisces. So shortly after the full moon on August 22nd, the moon in Aquarius moves to Pisces. So also bringing up the same energetic feel and that transition from Aquarian thinking to Piscean thinking, both from the moon and from Jupiter. And Jupiter's very tightly conjunct to the moon as well. Jupiter is retrograde, so bringing up things, lessons, situations, work that we have to finish and we haven't finished in the sign of Aquarius when it comes to our belief system, to the knowledge that we're acquiring, to how we're sharing information, our philosophies in life, etc., because those are the things that Jupiter rules. So Jupiter very prominent and bringing his benevolence in this energy of August 22nd. Now, another thing that is to be noticed is that Venus was in the sign of Virgo, the last full moon at 2 degrees, as now she's currently in the sign of Libra. So she switched signs and she's actually in rulership in this new full moon. So she's much stronger than she was in the sign of Libra. I also noticed that Mars in the full moon on July 23rd was at the 26 degrees of Leo, and the full moon August 22nd, the sun is at 29 degrees of Leo. And currently Jupiter is at 26 degrees of Aquarius. So Mars is bringing up willpower, vitality, action, being driven, starting things, taking initiative, bringing things up in regard to that and triggering the energy of Jupiter, as Jupiter is at 26 degrees in Aquarius in the new full moon. Just like the moon is conjunct Jupiter, then that means both of those planets are in opposition to the sun, because that's what full moons are about. They're an opposite. They're to harmonize the axis. And in this case, we're talking about the Leo Aquarius axis. So Mars is triggering that point when we have a full moon that repeats in sign, this is also, this is like the authentic blue moon. So when we have a moon that's repeating in sign, we have to first look at the original full moon, the one that happened before, and also this current one, because it's going to tell us a lot about what we needed to do. It's like the first full moon gives you a head start, but then the second full moon is still reminding you, don't forget, these are the things you need to work on. I told you from the get-go. Now you need to continue working if you haven't finished the work. And there's a lot of evolution and breaking free with both of these full moons. It's all about finding your true calling and not following the flock and being your authentic self. And what does that mean? Finding your purpose. Everyone has a purpose. And when we live a purpose-driven life, we're much more happier versus a fear-driven life, a scarcity mindset, things like that. That doesn't really satisfy us as humans. That's one of the things in the human experience, is to follow our heart and follow our purpose. And in order to do that, we build meaning, we build purpose, we build a life that's much more satisfying. So that's what I'm getting with the synastry between Mars opposing Jupiter. So they're not opposing each other in the full moons, but they're opposing each other in synastry. And I did include a chart right here so you guys can see the opposition that Mars forms with Jupiter. And they're to the degree, 26 degree. Now Jupiter being in retrograde is talking about us already having done some steps, having taken some action, but then we placed it in the back burner. So we're coming back to revisit it, and Mars is fueling that, like no longer letting you sleep, like literally pushing you to keep going and going and going. Saturn also changed his footing in this new full moon, as the full moon prior, the moon was a baby. She was at 1 degrees and had just left a conjunction to Pluto and then about to approach Saturn. So needed to mature. And now the moon is at 29 degrees. And this is a critical degree. According to the degree theory, this is also a very intuitive degree. So it does bring knowledge from the acquired experience throughout the zodiac sign where the moon has transited, and the lessons around Aquarius. And everyone's individual experience of Aquarius will be quite different, because that is dependent on your ascendant, and then you will follow the Aquarius house. So an example, if you are a Leo rising, then Aquarius is ruling your 7th house. If you're an Aquarius rising, then Aquarius is ruling your 1st house. If you do need a chart, I offer a free birth chart calculator. In the description below, you'll find that link. You can cast your chart, come back over here so you can follow with your own chart, see if you have any of these degrees activated in your chart. And the more connections your birth chart makes to the transits and the cosmic weather, the more you will feel this. And sometimes we're just bystanders. We don't necessarily feel as much because it wasn't our turn to do some evolutionary steps in evolving our soul and our purpose. But then there's other times that we feel like, whoa, we're shaken, like things are moving quickly and we have to adjust fast. And that's because the energy of your chart is communicating with the current energy. And if this is all too much for you, or you would like to get a reading, you can also check out my services on my website. But I just invite you to come back and learn with me and co-create this moment where we're just sharing love around astrology and the significance of the energetic imprinting of the planets and all that influence on us as an individual and also on humanity itself. I truly enjoy creating these videos, so I appreciate your support and you being here and watching these videos with me weekly. Okay, so now let's get to the Aquarius full moon on August 22nd. Full moons always carry this energy of being grateful, releasing, thanking, and just honoring the gifts and the journey that we learned from the transition. So wherever we have the moon transiting in our natal chart, so that would be the Aquarius energy this time around, we are learning some lessons. We are cultivating things, and we're also seeing things come into fruition. But we need to develop change after, because once things mature, come into fruition, we need to evolve, especially with this energy of Aquarius that is very evolutionary and unique and eccentric thinking, futuristic. So we covered the moon, we covered Jupiter, and we also covered the sun when comparing the full moons. Let's look at some of the aspects that are happening on that date. So, about a few days before the full moon, we had the Mercury Mars cycle begin. And the Mercury Mars cycle is a cycle that is a little bit more assertive and felt, especially in regard to our communication. The thing is, this cycle is a little bit more supportive because not all the time do Mercury and Mars meet in the sign that each other rules. So Mars does not rule Virgo, but Mercury does. And Mercury's in charge here. So they're forming a new cycle in regard to communication, assertion, manifesting with will, manifesting with purpose, manifesting with drive. Because Mercury rules the speech, the mouth, the throat chakra. And in human design, we manifest through that chakra. And we speak our truth, and we speak our belief system, and we assert ourselves in the knowledge that we have and the ideals that we formed. And that's what we communicate to the world. This is who I am. Well, when Mars is forming this new cycle there with Mercury, it's a little bit more assertive because Mars is aggression. Mars is taking action. Mars rules our muscles. Mars rules the blood system. So we're having a lot of ideas, a lot of forcefulness, like kind of like having ants in our pants type of energy. And with this new cycle, it's not a softer one like Mars and Venus making love. This one's more like talk your truth, say your truth. The lesson here is making sure we say it respectfully, making sure that we're not forcing our belief system to others, but also setting very clear boundaries to knowing our authentic truth, to expressing what we really believe is to be true and aligned to us. Now, the good aspects that Mars and Mercury are making is they're making a trine to Uranus. Now, Uranus is just stationary. And I think out of the entire chart, this is one of the best aspects because Mercury and Uranus, when they get together, this is like genius energy. Anyone that has Mercury Uranus contacts in their chart, whether it's a good supportive trine or sextile or an opposition or a square, no matter what, thinks outside the box. These people stand out from the crowd. These people are just connected to other dimensions and other channeling energies because they see more than the naked eye can see. They're thinking with this higher mind. And Uranus does rule channeling and getting information from the ethers. So then when we bring in the energy of Mercury, it's like you're getting this information very quickly. You're expressing it and sharing your ideals. So I really love the energy of Mercury and Uranus forming a trine, because this is both these planets actually are appointed the rulership of astrology. And as an astrologer, I have a very prominent Uranus and a very prominent Mercury in my chart. And I really do feel that that helped me be an astrologer, because I just couldn't stop thinking, studying, dreaming astrology. And it was because of the way that I was thinking. My mind was quite different than my siblings and my friends. It was just tapped into astrology and the meaning of life and finding purpose and leading a more compassionate life. So I made it my purpose to study astrology, and here I am. So I really like this aspect, because we're going to be able to tune into information from the cosmic realm and the ethers, and then decipher it to support us in our expression and our ideals. Now, when Mars and Uranus get together, this is a tricky one, because when Mars squares Uranus, it causes riots, disagreements. Mars is not that energy of like Mercury, where we're just gonna talk. Mars is the energy of forcefulness, and paired up with Uranus, that's more unpredictable. When it's in a tough aspect, it's a little harder to gauge and a little harder to control. And obviously, Mars does not like control. He likes to be the one controlling, not being controlled. So it just causes explosiveness. But when Mars and Uranus are trining or sextiling, it does have forcefulness and it does have willpower, but it's with more drive, but not necessarily reckless. So it can still be aggressive, it can still be assertive. This combination is found in people that are rebels, revolutionists, humanitarian, passionate people. They're thinking of society as a whole through that energy of Uranus, but taking actions in their own personal life to impact society. And they're always having the agenda of helping the underdog, of helping people that are less fortunate, and improving systems, improving our governmental systems, and evolving scientifically. So as a trine, it's very, very supportive. So then when we look at both Mercury and Mars being together, since Mercury is actually ruling over Mars, it's controlling Mars a little. So it's using the power of the mind. And then with the energy of Uranus, it uses the power of the higher mind. So a lot of good ideas, a lot of information, a lot of nervous energy, a lot of just excess stuff going on. So it's just going to be a week of getting shit done. There's going to be so many changes, so many things. That doesn't mean they're going to be bad, but you will feel a little bit burnt out because you're having a lot of daily routine changes. That's the energy that Virgo rules. And where we see a little bit of hesitance will be with that fixed Taurus sign, because we're getting pushed to no longer be sedentary and take some action and think outside of the box and evolve, do that Aquarian evolvement that we've been talking so much with this age of Aquarius finally being here. Another thing I noticed was Venus is forming a trine with Saturn, and Venus and Saturn are friends. Venus is probably like one of the only planets that really gets along well with Saturn. Mercury does too, but Venus is like Saturn's, like, he has a place for Venus in his heart. So Venus hits the spot for him. And we're forming a applying trine. Venus is at 7 degrees, Saturn is at 8 degrees. Yes, he's retro, he's getting close to the 7-degree mark, so they're kind of coming at each other at a quicker pace. And Venus forming this trine is actually crystallizing and solidifying things around what Venus rules, which is our self-love, our relationships, what we value, how we communicate with others, and Saturn is maturing them. Now, there is some work to be done because Saturn is retrograde. So this is something, or a scenario or a conversation that's been happening for quite some time, and you're going to see some maturing and some evolutionary steps to support you because it is supportive. They're also forming a sextile to the South Node, and Juno's there in the South Node. So they're talking about relationships, past life relationships, also relationships that are going to lead to marriage because Juno is the asteroid of marriage. So this is quite supportive for evolvement and more of an intimate union with two people that are ready to be more committed. Because when we look at the energy of Saturn, that's what he brings, commitment, and Venus brings love, and Juno is the asteroid of marriage. But leaving things behind, because the energy of the South Node is to learn from our lessons, so not forget our lessons. We embrace what we learned, but we leave shit behind. We no longer act the same way. We no longer are going to be in our shadow self. We are going to mature with the past relationships and the lessons that we had, so then we can attract better relationship circumstances and also create better unions and better partnerships, etc. Now, both Saturn and Venus are trining the North Node. So this is also quite supportive. And then we see Ceres there. And Ceres is the asteroid of abundance. And she's also a mother asteroid. Her daughter was Persephone. And you can turn on Persephone on astro.com. However, Venus is also a goddess that takes the essence of Persephone. But they're totally different goddesses. But because there's limited goddesses being represented by the planets, Venus took a lot of the archetypes. So Venus in trine with Ceres, that means that there is a good connection to the mother, good connection to abundance, and Ceres is close to the North Node. So a good connection to your future developments, your future expression of this life, because the North Node is the point where we want to evolve to. This is the lesson that we came to learn. The archetype and the aspects to this North Node talk about the lessons that we came in to embrace and evolve the South Node energy into this North Node energy. And I do have a video on the Gemini and Sagittarius nodes, so you can check that out. It'll be in my description below. And I also talked about Juno before. So very supportive. Now, Saturn is also forming a trine to that North Node. So both love matters, money matters, responsibility, union, commitment, building a structure, building a family, having children, getting married, breaking free from past karma is very supportive. But we have to do the work. And this is something we've been doing for quite some time because Saturn here is holding one of the wings of this kite configuration. And he's retro. Out of all the other planets, all other points, he's retro. Juno was retro on the previous full moon on July 23rd. Juno's no longer retro. Juno at this point is at 9 degrees in Sagittarius going direct. So matters in regard to marriage are going to be feeling a little less intense since she changed direction, but we do need to take some action. And this can also definitely talk about divorce because there's some marriages that just don't work. But even though it doesn't seem like it's a gift now, and that's because Saturn retro, you'll know that you changing this in your life changes your vibration, and then you call out your true partner to come to you. There's times that you do have to do some work because there is some aura bonding and some things that happened in the relationship that lowered your vibration, and you need to get rid of before you manifest a person that you are going to be more fulfilled with and be able to build a life with and just have more things in common with. But when this initially first happens, it feels like your world is crumbling. So you're restructuring, and you're no longer the same, right? You're no longer having the same routine, going to the same places, maybe even living in the same house. So, matters of the house through series, matters of marriage, matters of love, matters of union, and karmic release are all emphasized by these planets. So, that is what I wanted to talk about with the Aquarius full moon, August 22nd. It has a lot of energy. Tune into the vibration of this chart and just feel the energy. It's very, very high, but it's energy of movement, moving and evolving, taking courageous and bold action, and really tapping into your intuition, your divine consciousness, and maturing spiritually. So you can check out the energy scale. I'm putting it on here, but the energy of this chart has a 210 vibration. I checked it with my pendulum, and I also asked my guides to assist me in getting information on just the energetic field. So that is the threshold of courage. And Mars right here being united with Mercury is talking all about courage. They're also opposing Neptune, and this aspect happens yearly, but sometimes Mercury just faces off Neptune on its own. This time around, Mars is there to give Mercury a little bit more direction. And this aspect is like the spiritual warrior type of aspect, because we have Mars, the warrior, and Neptune, the mystic muse, spiritual hippie type of energy. And he then pushes through with his belief systems. Now, with the opposition, it could be wrong belief systems. It could also be things that are not necessarily working to your favor because you don't see everything. It's sounding all good, like sugar coated. And then later on, you find out that there's a gimmick. So, and Mercury's bringing that gimmick because he's the master merchandiser. So just be mindful of that and always tap into your angels. Ask your angels for assistance. We are having the 29th degree in Leo being activated, which is where Archangel Raphael sits. That's Regulus. It's at 0 degrees Virgo now, but it's in Or very close. And then the moon is at 29 degrees Aquarius, which is very close to Falmahat, which is Archangel Gabriel. And then we have the North Node and the South Node activating the axis of Archangel Michael and Archangel Uriel. So definitely the angels are with us, and they're fighting this cosmic battle with us and awakening people so we can take care of this earth and take care of ourselves and be more kind and just, be connected to humanity. So things that have been happening a while, and we've been seeing the repeat, but it's still happening and we're still doing some work towards it. I really appreciate you all, and I appreciate you supporting me and watching my videos. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment below. It really helps me, and I put a lot of energetic energy into my videos, and I put a lot of passion and drive behind everything I do. So I really, really appreciate every single one of you. Okay, let's get into that human design astrology weather. So I do human design a little different. I am an astrologer, Western astrologer, and I focus more on that. So when I look at human design, I'm more focused on the transits and the gates that the planets are activating for us, not necessarily focusing on your type like manifestor, generator, projector, as the focus is more on the individual transits and the human design gates that are being highlighted and influenced. So when looking at full moons, we have to look at two gates. We have to look at the gate where the sun is transiting, and then we have to look at the gate where the moon is transiting. And this full moon happens when the moon is in gate 30. And we also have Jupiter in gate 30 and the part of fortune in gate 30. And this is the gate of passion. This gate runs from 24 degrees 30 minutes to 0 degrees 07 in Pisces. And when we look at full moons, what are full moons all about? Full moons are about releasing, letting go, so we can stay in alignment with our intentions. But they're also about gratitude and really understanding the lesson and the gift behind our actions and the things that occurred, and evolving from that, especially with that energy of Aquarius. Now, gate 30 carries a lot of intensity. It's a gate that the energy deals with getting inspired through your passions. Now, the people that have this gate naturally active in their chart by a planet or a node or the earth, they carry this energy very intensely in their daily expression. But the shadow is that they can burn out because they're so intense. So the lesson here is to learn to balance this passion and intensity that you have towards expressing your ideals. This is going to be that gate 30, and this is Aquarius, between 24 degrees 30 minutes to 0 degrees 7 minutes in Pisces. And what I invite you to explore is this affirmation. How is it that you are a passionate creator? How is it that you're using this intensity, this willpower, this passion, this emotional energy to sustain and power your truest and deepest dreams and desires? How are you living a purpose-driven life? So this is what you need to contemplate with this gate. Even if you don't have this gate in your chart activated as a transit, as a whole, as an entire community, this gate is active for all of us, and we can tap into this energy and really use it. And then we look at gate 29, and this is the gate of devotion. This is where the sun in Leo is located right now. So the full moon is activating 29 and gate 30. Now they're in different centers. We have gate 30 in the solar plexus, and we have gate 29 in the sacral. And gate 29 is between 24 degrees in Leo with 30 minutes to 0 degrees and 7 minutes in Virgo. And this is the gate where you discover how you are of service to others. How are you devoted to not just others, but especially yourself? How is it that you need to develop this devotion? And how is it that you set strong but supportive and nurturing boundaries? When do you say no? And when do you need to say yes? This gate is more concentrating on setting appropriate boundaries, self-respect, and really being devoted to yourself first before you are devoted to others. And the lesson is to learn to say yes when you want to say yes, and learn to say no when you don't want to fucking do it. So I really like this gate because I do have some Virgo placements, and I know that I love to be of service, but sometimes being of service to others can actually also deplete your energy and burn you out. So I had to explore this lesson on when is it really that I do need a help, and when is it when I'm enabling people, right? When is it that I don't have that real clear boundary where I'm not going to help you with that because I know that you're more than capable. I might guide you. And this is how I'm being of service to you. I'm being devoted to you by making sure that you're developing these skills on your own. And I'll be there, but not necessarily to do the work for you. So it is something that I've had to develop in myself because not setting those clear boundaries really was causing havoc in my life. And the affirmation to this gate is, I have an extraordinary ability to devote myself to manifesting an idea to fruition. I am capable of manifesting great things when I do everything with devotion, when I set great energetic boundaries, when I nurture myself first and I look out for my well-being. That is key in order for me to create. So thank you so much for being here and tuning in. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and check out my services. I host monthly workshops and manifesting rituals, and I also do trainings and readings, so you can check out all the stuff that I offer. I really appreciate you all. I want you to have a very beautiful full moon in Aquarius, and set foot some evolutionary changes that need to be done so you can align to your life purpose. Thank you so much. Take care, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.